everyone, so today's video is going to be all about fidgeting and like stim toys and sensory items, which in case you don't know what like any of those words mean, I promise it will become like clear as I like explain it. Basically this year for Autism Acceptance Month, which is in April, which is when this video will be uploaded, I want to make like a bunch of videos surrounding autism. I couldn't do that last year because my phone broke in like March, I think, so I couldn't film for almost like the entirety of April. But this year, hopefully that won't happen and I'll actually be able to upload multiple videos for Autism Acceptance Month. This will be one of them. It will be all about, again, like I already stated, fidgeting and stim toys, sensory items, stuff that really helps like autistic people like regulate themselves. And I will talk about like my own experiences with all of these items and what I still want to get in the future and stuff like that. So yeah, let's just get into it. So my relationship with fidgeting or stimming more specifically is about the same as a lot of autistic people, sadly enough. And I say sadly enough because usually for a lot of autistic people, our relationship with stimming isn't that great because people will stop us from doing it. Even though I only was diagnosed when I was like in university, people still stopped me from stimming when I was really young. I have always like stimmed a lot with my hair and my clothing, and people would again like stop me from doing it. They would like smack my hands, tell me to keep them still. They would even use the term like quiet hands, which even me just saying that word sends like shivers down my spine, because of the way that they said it. Like, it was really not good. And my relationship with stimming is still not the best. Like, I often don't know how I stim. Like, I will watch videos of other people stimming and I'm like, yeah, but I don't do that. So do I not stim then? Like, do I not notice it? But this YouTube channel is actually what helped me realize like what my stims are and what they look like, because I can see myself on video. So yeah, now I know mostly what my stims are. My stims are still very much with my hair and like my jewelry, my rings specifically, and my clothes, and usually my bed as well, which I don't think that specifically has anything to do with the fact that I'm sitting on my bed, because I've always had that. Like, I will always stim with like the fabric on my bed. So yeah, I don't think that's specifically because I'm sitting on my bed. I think it's just because I've always done that. I feel like I'm also like talking a lot about stimming, and people are not gonna know what it is if you've never heard of it. I hope that you just like look up what it means. Like, I've already said it a little bit before, it's how like autistic people regulate themselves. A very like well-known example of stimming for autistic people that is very like obvious to non-autistic people is rocking yourself. So moving back and forth, which I also do that. I don't really like doing it when other people are watching, like even just the camera, like I really dislike doing it. But I still have moments where I do it, especially when I'm like working out. Strangely enough, I've noticed it a lot, especially when I do like my arm workouts, which is very strange. I don't know why I do that, but yeah, I rock back and forth a lot when I do my arm workouts for some reason. But yeah, like that's a very like obvious example of stimming. A lot of autistic people choose not to stim like that in public because even if we want to, like other people are gonna comment on it, and that's never fun. So we usually go for stims that are a lot less visible. Like for example, me like twisting my rings or like moving them up and down. That's gonna be like more socially acceptable than me rocking back and forth. And it's gonna be a lot less visible, which obviously, as an autistic person, if you visibly show that you're autistic, you can't put yourself in danger because people see you as vulnerable. And I would rather not that people see me as even more vulnerable than they already see me, considering I use a cane to walk. Like, I'm already a target. I don't want to make myself even more of a target. So yeah, I personally do stims that aren't really that visible. So again, like twisting my rings, moving my hair, playing with my clothing, stuff like that, right? Like stuff that's a bit less visible, because again, if you make it visible, you can put yourself in danger. And if you have the choice to not put yourself in danger, then you're gonna take it. And again, I emphasize if you have the choice, because sometimes, autistic people can be very overwhelmed, have shutdowns or meltdowns, and obviously in those moments we don't have a choice how we stim. So if you do have the choice, you're gonna choose not to put yourself in danger by very obviously stimming. I wish we didn't have to do that and we could just like stim in peace, but sadly enough, that's usually not the case. I feel like I've talked way more than what I said in my notes, but I guess I'm just in a ranty mood today, even though I don't feel very well today. But yeah, apparently me not feeling well means that I rant a lot. I have no idea. But yeah, let me actually get into all of the fidget items and sensory items that I own and whether or not I use them, how I use them, stuff like that. So yeah, let's just get into those. So the first fidget toy that I ever bought, I actually bought before I got my diagnosis for autism, which I bought it because like fidget items are not just for like autistic people, they're for like everyone, obviously. But yeah, I bought these two before I actually got my diagnosis, and those are fidget cubes. Now this one is still in its like box because this one is fully black, so meaning like all of the blue and white is like completely black, and because of that it's very difficult to see what's going on, even though I like this one way more. So I'm not gonna like show this one. I am instead gonna show this one because this is way more visible because of the white and the blue. This one was supposed to be my dad's, but then he got really embarrassed about wanting to use it, and then he gave it to me as like an extra one. So yeah, that's great, makes me feel really good about myself. But yeah, people probably know what this is, like you've probably seen like advertisements for it like a while ago. Like these things were really popular for a while before fidget spinners became popular, which I don't have a fidget spinner. Like I never really liked those, but as you can see I do have two of these. I don't use them a lot. I used to take the black one, so this one, I used to take this one with me to university, but I would only use the silent options that these things have because a lot of these buttons are very loud. Like I'll show it now. Like that's very loud, right? Like especially if you're like in a quiet room in university and a teacher is giving a lesson, like you're gonna hear that, right? So I would always choose the more silent options, meaning like this thing, which like this doesn't make any noise as you move it, which as I was holding it earlier like this, I was actually like playing with it. I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah, I'm probably gonna do that a lot in this video, just casually playing with these things as I speak because that's what they're for. But yeah, I would always use this because it's quiet, and this one, which is like a light switch, which this is a lot louder, like it's quite loud, but I do it very slowly so that you can't really like hear it. And the reason I like using this one is because it reminds me of like my main stim that I have, the one that I have with my clothes and my bed sheets, where I move my clothes and my bed sheets like back and forth. I don't really know how to talk about it because I don't really know like how to explain it because it's so specific to me. Like I've never seen anyone else do it, so I'm kind of self-conscious about it as well, but I'm trying not to be for this video. So yeah, this like light switch thing reminds me of that motion, so I just use it like very slowly so it doesn't make any noise. The other things on here are again way too loud, so I wouldn't use them in university. I also don't use these or any of these other items outside really because again I am still very self-conscious about it, but maybe one day I won't be and I will use some of these outside. But yeah, for now I don't. So let's just move on to the next like object that I have because I feel like this video is gonna be very long. So yeah, let's try and make it under half an hour, shall we? So next we have a couple items that I'm showing together because they basically serve the same purpose. Now these items I bought after I got my diagnosis. I specifically went to a website where they sold stuff like this and I felt very embarrassed about it. My dad made comments about it, how it was for children, and it wasn't a good thing. Like I rarely use them, as in I've used them like twice maybe, and I've owned these for like 3 years. I should really like learn to use them and not be embarrassed about it, because I feel like it would help me, but I just feel so embarrassed about using them and even showing them that like I kind of don't want to. But this video is about, you know, not being embarrassed about it and hopefully helping other people become like not embarrassed about using items like this and stimming and fidgeting in general. So yeah, I am gonna show them. So here I go, I guess. So the items that I'm talking about are things that you can bite. So this is made out of a material, it's like a bracelet thing. It's made out of a material that can be bitten, and you can also like twist it and like turn it to the other side, which that's actually the thing I like about it most. And then these things are like necklaces that you can put around your neck and you can bite them. Again, they're made out of a material that you can bite. I bought these because I felt like they would really help me, but because my dad made comments about it, I didn't use them, and I still haven't used them really. But again, I feel like they would help me because I am someone who really bites things a lot. I always have. And I specifically bite like the inside of my mouth, like my cheeks and stuff like that. And that like hurts. And so I'm basically like hurting myself as I'm like stimming basically, which obviously isn't a good thing. So I feel like stuff like this would help. I hope you can actually see it because I am wearing like black and these things are black. But yeah, I bought them in black because they would make me feel more comfortable. So yeah, I feel like these things are also a bit more discreet. Like I feel like this could actually be a bracelet, and this, you know, looks like an actual necklace. This a bit less because it's so like big. Again, I hope you can see it. I feel like they would actually like help me if I actually used them, but I don't, because again, I'm embarrassed about it. But I gotta stop being embarrassed about it. So yeah, I don't know if I'm ever gonna buy more of these in the future, because again, I don't use them, but I feel like I should use them. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can force myself to use it, or well, not force, maybe just like encourage myself to use it. But yeah, I'm gonna put these down now because my arms really hurt from like holding them up. So yeah, things you can bite that can help you with like stimming, or if you have like stims where you bite things that can be dangerous or painful, you got these. Like this you can also bite, but again, you can also like twist it, which that's the motion I like about it most. But yeah, these are specifically for biting. Then next is an item that I do actually know I want to own more of, and I specifically want to own ones with different like textures and a different feeling to it, because this one, after I use it for a while, it feels very like nasty in my hands. Not because it's nasty, but because it feels nasty. Like I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes like certain textures just become like a little bit too much and they start feeling like, again, not nasty because it is nasty, but just because it's way too smooth in my opinion. And I don't like stuff that's way too smooth. Like I don't know why, but yeah, I don't like stuff like that. But the item or items that I'm talking about are tangles. Now, in case you don't know what this is, it's basically like you can move it. You can also like rip it apart because it's made out of like different like parts, so that it makes this like shape that you can like infinitely move. I can actually show you what it looks like taken apart, so it becomes like one long like string, because I'm not strong enough to do that anymore. I used to be, not now. My hands are not strong enough to do that anymore, and neither are my fingers. So yeah, I can't show you that. I can show you that like it can be like squished into a little ball almost. They are like nice to play with, but again, because it's made out of this like shiny material, like it kind of like fades away at certain points, and because of that it starts feeling like weird. So I want like a different one that has more like rubbery material on it and maybe some like textures, because they do make those, and I want one of those, even though I like this one because of the color. Like I really like purple, like my other cane is purple. But yeah, I feel like because of the texture, like it's just not nice, or the texture that's lacking, I guess. It's not that like nice anymore, but it is still like fun to play with. It is less like easily hidden because it is like, you know, a bright thing that you're holding in your hand, and it cannot be like disguised as like a bracelet or like a necklace. Like it's just in your hand. It's a bit more visible, but it is one of the things that I feel like calms you down nicely. It's also not completely silent. Like you might hear it as I like move it. Like it's, you know, I don't know if the camera's picking all of that up, but it is making noise as it like moves. So it's also not completely silent, but it is something that I do enjoy. And like I said, I do want another one of these that's just a bit better to like my taste. So yeah, tangles are very popular with autistic people and non-autistic people probably. But yeah, this would also be a good fidget item. I don't know what else to say. Let's just move on to the next one, which is gonna be the last one. So yeah. So then the last like actual fidget item that I own, because I do fidget with other stuff obviously, but this is the last like fidget item that I own. And it's one that I actually bought only a couple months ago, and that's because I felt like I would really like it, which I do actually really like it considering I'm playing with it off camera, like in my right hand. So I'm just gonna hold it up, and that is what I think is called a poppet. It's basically just kind of like, you know, bubble wrap, but made out of like rubber, you know, like, I don't know if it's very visible on camera, but you can basically like push these, and then on the other side you can push them back. Like again, it's not completely silent. I don't know if you can again hear it because my camera tends to not pick up sound very easily, especially like little sounds like this, but I don't know if you can hear that. But yeah, it is not like silent, but it is very nice to play with, especially because it is also like so movable. You can also just like squeeze it, which is very nice. And it does move back afterwards. So I do enjoy that about this. Again, it is very visible and you cannot like hide it or disguise it as like a necklace. It's very visible. Again, I don't use it outside, but that's because I bought it during the pandemic and I haven't been outside in months. So, you know, I haven't really had the opportunity to use it outside, but I don't think I would, just because again, it is really, really visible. But I feel like I would like another one of these that's a bit smaller and only has like a one or two of these like pop things. And I can maybe hold it in my hand and still disguise it a little bit. Because again, if you have the opportunity, make yourself as safe as possible when it comes to using like fidget items or stim toys in public. Because people will like see you as a target. So yeah, again, I wish it wasn't like that, but sadly enough, it is. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but I am playing with it as I talk. I hope it's not too audible. I'm really sorry. But I mean, if I am gonna hold up like stim toys in this video, I am gonna inevitably like play with them. So yeah, this is like the last one, like I already said, that I own. I do fidget with like other stuff, obviously, and as you can tell, I don't fully like the material of that like poppet thing because it makes my hands feel a bit nasty. But again, like I already said, I do fidget with other stuff like my clothing. I can't really do it with any of the clothing I'm currently wearing, but I used to do it in school a lot where I would buy clothing specifically so I could fidget with it. Like I would go to a store and actually feel if it's material that I could fidget with, and I would buy it in a size that was better for fidgeting than instead of buying it to fit me properly. Like it was a whole thing. But yeah, this is just to say that like you don't have to own like fidget toys or stim toys in order to stim or fidget. Like you can do it with anything, your clothing, your hair, jewelry, anything basically, and you just gotta find what works for you. Usually it comes quite naturally to you. Like I said, my main like stim where I like move my clothing back and forth, or well, just in general like a fabric, so like the blanket of my bed or like the fabric of my clothing, like that comes like naturally to me. I've always done that. That's like my main stim, and I've never used like stim toys for that or fidget items. So again, you don't have to own any of these things in order to fidget or stim, but I hope that you at least got some like recommendations maybe from me showing those items and talking to you about like what I like about them and what I don't like about them and how visible they are to other people and stuff like that. That is obviously not to say, again, that you should be ashamed of using these things. Like, I am slightly ashamed of it, but that's just because people keep telling me that I should be ashamed of it, and me making this video is already making me a bit less like ashamed of it. So yeah, it's not something to be embarrassed about or ashamed about to use any of these. It's just that you gotta, again, that if you have the option to be careful and to not use any of the more visible ones in public, then I would recommend it if you know that you don't live in an area where they are like very friendly towards like autistic people or just people who are a bit different than other people in general. I know myself that if I use any of the more visible ones in public, that people are gonna look at me and ask questions, and I don't want that. So yeah, it's not necessarily because I'm embarrassed, it's because I want to make sure that I'm safe, and I want to make sure that you guys are safe as well. So again, keep that in mind when you do start using like fidget items for the first time. Make sure you do it safely, not just in a way that like, be careful what you do with it, don't harm yourself with it, stuff like that, but also in a way of like, make sure you protect yourself from other people who might do something, which again, that's the very sad reality we live in. I wish that was different, especially when I make a video for Autism Acceptance Month. It's the reason why like I refuse to call it Autism Awareness Month, because people are aware of autism, they just don't accept it. So I feel like a lot of autistic people use Autism Acceptance Month instead. So that's why I will also title this video this, and why I mention it constantly. So yeah, even though it is very sad to mention during Autism Acceptance Month that not everyone accepts us, I feel like it's still a reality that we gotta like keep in mind, which, that can be quite painful to think about, obviously, especially during this month. But yeah, I hope that this video at least like helped you a little bit and helped you figure out what items could work for you. Or if you're not autistic and you're just watching this because you always watch like my booktube videos, I hope you got to know me a bit better, I guess. And I hope that you got a bit more information about autism, and I hope you're enjoying all of the videos that I'm making for Autism Acceptance Month. And I hope obviously that you're like educating yourself and not just using me as someone to educate you, but listening to other autistic people as well. There's many autistic booktubers who also make videos like this, or just autistic people in general, like on social media. Like, I will be very active during Autism Acceptance Month, hopefully, if the ableism doesn't become too much for me during that month. But yeah, obviously I'm not filming this in April, I'm filming this in March, so I can't promise anything. But yeah, I hope you listen to like other autistic people and not just me. I hope that if you have like more questions about like fidget items, I could maybe help, but again, I don't own that much. But I do plan on like owning more. Like I said, I want like a smaller puppet. I want those like projector things that like project like a galaxy on your ceiling. I want one of those. They seem very like calming to me. I also want some more like stuffed animals, because I used to own a lot of those, but then my parents like threw all of them away. But now I only have like a couple. I have one from like IKEA, which I'll see if I can find a picture of it. I really like that one. I like the fabric. I like the size of it. I want like more of those, because they do really feel like, not necessarily fidget items, but they feel like sensory items for me. They're very soothing. So yeah, I want more stuffed animals as well. I want like a tangle that's like a different texture, like I already mentioned. But stuff like that is obviously like expensive, and I can't buy all of that at once. I wanted to wait to make this video until I had more stuff, but I feel like this is the stuff that I currently own, and if I do get more stuff, I can just make an updated video, I guess, if you guys want that. Because again, I know that you guys are mainly here for like book related stuff, considering this is a booktube channel. But this stuff is also very important to me, like disability rights and stuff like that, as like a disabled person myself. And considering that, like, you know, books are one of my like special interests, I feel like talking about autism and disability and stuff like that on my booktube channel is very fitting, considering it is part of that, kind of. So yeah, I hope that, again, this video was nice to watch. Like, I talked way more than I was planning. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I think, I'm not feeling that well, and I still talked for a very long time. I don't know how I did that, but yeah, I hope you still enjoyed this video, whether you're autistic or not, and whether or not you're just here for like my booktube videos, or you're just here because you found me through like the autism related videos. Thank you for watching. Again, whichever category you fit in, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to talk about like your own experience with like STEM toys, sensory items, stuff like that, you can put them in the comments below. I would love to read them. I read all of the comments. I really love it when you guys comment. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got information from it, and I hope you got to know me better. And I am going to end this video here because I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. So yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.